Hi guys, Moxie here again. Kay asked me if I would do a quick video on density, so here goes. I hope I'm not going to confuse you even more, but here we have the Futura software, and I created just a basic circle, nothing special to this at all. It's just a basic circle, and if I view realistic view, there we go, that's all we have, and that's what I'll be working with to demonstrate the density. I'm going to view in just the outline view. It will hopefully make more sense. So here we're going to go up to our outline edit button, and then we're going to go to our design embroidery settings. And if you notice there's a G here at the end of the line, that's just saying that you can press G on your keyboard to also open this box up. And what you can see here is my density at the moment is set on 4, and what that is actually saying is my stitches are going to be 4 points apart, and this is talking about in this case the vertical lines, or going with the stitch angle. This bar here is showing you what the stitch angle is, which is actually 90 degrees. And so it's been a long time since my school maths, but anyway, and you can see the main stitch lines for this circle are vertical. So density 4 points apart. Let me go in a bit closer to that, I think. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the density to 10. So what I'm actually asking is for the stitches on the vertical to be 10 points apart instead of 4 points apart. And I'm going to apply that, and what you'll see happen is the stitches are now further apart. They're 10 points apart instead of 4 points. And I'm going to change that again to 20. So we're now saying we want the stitches 20 points apart. The actual maximum for this is 500, but I'm going to creep up slowly. I'm going to say density of 50, so I want the vertical stitches to be 50 points apart. And you can see all the time it's opening this design out. And this is your completed design. This is what would stitch out. You would just have the line coming up and down. And apart from maybe something like FSL, or if you were doing a light fill background, maybe with some red work, I really don't know why you would want a density as open as this, but there must be a reason for it. I just haven't found it yet. If I go to 100 on the density and apply that, there's going to be 100 points between the vertical stitch lines. And let's whack it right up to the maximum while we're here, which is 500 points, and apply that, and we're left with a design which has 3 lines to it. There's got to be a reason, but I'm sure someone will tell me if there is. But you can see the density number, the higher the number, the further apart you're asking for the stitch lines to be that run with the stitch angle of the design. So I'm going to bring that back down to 100 and apply it. So now the stitch lines are 100 points apart on the vertical, and let's go back to the default of 4 and apply that. So this is what you would normally get, and this is what would normally stitch out. And to be honest, I don't often use 4. To me it's still a little bit open and loose. I tend to make a lot of my designs at 3 or even 2.5. If I apply that, and I find that works best for the type of fabric that I'm personally stitching on. And so there you go, Kay. I don't know if that makes more sense to you, but the lower the number, the shorter the distance between the stitches, therefore the tighter or the denser the design. The higher this number is, the further apart the stitch lines are, and therefore the looser the design will be. This is one way of setting the density, and of course, as always, there is another alternative to that, which is allowing the machine software to set some of these automatically depending on the fabric that you're going to be embroidering onto. And you'll see here in the settings, on the manual settings, I've got a down arrow, and I can go here to one that says preset fabrics, and that brings me a box up which is asking me to select my fabric. I'm going to cancel out of this just to show you up on the menu on the design you've also got the apply fabric, which will open the same box for you, but I like to do it from within here. So at the moment my circle, I've got a density of 3 and I've got no other options selected. Let's say for argument's sake I want to stitch onto a baby blanket. Polar fleece is the option here, and it's given me some advice that to do this embroidery it suggests I use a heavy cutaway plus a topping and use a ballpoint needle. Don't have to go by these, but it will always advise you on what it recommends rather for this particular fabric. And if I say OK to this, keep an eye on these settings here. When I say OK, the program has automatically decreased the density to 3.8, so it's actually made the design a little bit tighter. It's added an edge walk underlay, a fill underlay, and it's created some stretch, and this will compensate for that polar fleece fabric. So when in doubt, and if you get into starting to create these designs yourself, have a look and see what the program suggests. I'm going to go to presets again, and that was the baby blanket. Let's go up to a doll's face. So it's suggesting felt for a doll's face, light to medium tear away with a sharp needle, and I'm going to say OK. And as I do, watch these settings again. If I say that, the program has increased the density to 4.5, or not increased it, it's actually loosened it up because it's made the stitches further apart, and it's got the edge walk and a fill underway, and it's still got some stretch there. So I'm going to change this again, preset fabrics, and show you towels, terry towels. OK. Now it's taken the density to 3.2, so it's tightened the design up. Again, it's got edge walk and fill underlay automatically, and it's included some stretch to compensate for the terry fabric. There's one other option. You can play with these, go through them and just see what happens. You've got one down here called letters, and I know just recently people have been asking about doing their own labels, and if you look down this list on letters, we have things like the micro letters either on a stable fabric or a knit fabric, and by micro letters we're talking letters which are only 5 to 7 millimeters tall, so we're talking thin here. And if I say OK to that, watch what happens to this box. It's actually taken the density to 5, and it's removed the underlays, but it's still kept the stretch in. So this is for micro letters on a knit, which is slightly stretchy fabric. So play around with it. If I apply that, you can see how it's changed the design here. Preset fabric, let's go to towels again, OK, and apply that, and you can see how the program will alter your design for you. So I hope that's helped and not confused you even more. Ask me any questions and I'll talk to you soon. Hope this has helped. Bye.